Ipswich Town actually be the real bloody deal as they top the table over in the Championship? However, match number 3 is just around the corner. Can they win again? We're going to take a little look next. That's right, folks. Bumps game, another prediction video today. We'll take a look at match number 3 in this year's Championship, of course, and we'll get to that in just one second. If you're new, where you've been, stop what you're doing, swallow what you're doing, subscribe, of course. Your one-stop shop here for Blackburn Rovers, the Championship, and World Football, of course. Joining them at the top of the table, that's right, is, of course, Leicester City, former Premier League winners. They're doing okay at the moment. Both sides 2 for 2, but can they make it 3 for 3? We'll take a little look in just one second, of course. Big shout out once again to them, our VIPs. Who are they? They're the bloody patrons, that's right. Big shout out to you guys. If you want to be a patron, check out the links down below to support the channel in any which way you can. So let's jump into the vortex, of course, and recap the results last time around. And of course, then we'll kick off forward to previewing the next round of games. So here we go. That's right. So first and foremost, let's have a little look at my picks, see how I got on. And I don't think I did great, to be fair. I did predict a Coventry victory. 2-1 was my pick. It was a 3-0 win in the end, convincing win for Coventry as they got up and running. Birmingham with a cheeky 1-0 win over Leeds. Of course, I got the one spot on the nose. That's right. Meanwhile, QPR stunned us all with a 2-1 win, away day win over Cardiff. I went with a 2-0 win the other way. Bristol City picked up a 3-pointer against Millwall. I went with the draw myself. All the goals at Southampton, 4-4 in the end. I went with a 2-0 win myself for the Saints. Got that one wrong. Watford also could only muster a draw against Plymouth. Big result for them on the road. 0-0 draw for them. 3-0 win in my eyes. Leicester 1-0 win over Huddersfield. I went with a 3-1. Hull City big 4-2 win over Sheffield Wednesday. That's a good cracking result. I went with the draw myself. 2-0 win, of course, Ipswich over Stoke. Good win for them at Portman Road. 2-1 win, of course, the other way for me. Sunderland cannot get going at the moment. 2-1 loss to Preston. I went with a 1-0 win. Rovers squeaked a 2-2 draw against Rotherham. I went with a 2-1 win for Rovers, and a West Brom 3-2 win over Swansea. I went with a 1-0 win as well. We'll look at the Super Brew shortly. This, of course, is actually, we're going to look at it right now. We're going to look at it in a second. Of course, take a look at these guys. They actually put their picks in the Super Brew as well in the chat. This is what you want to do here, guys. Ultra Murat, of course, what highlights his when they went with, of course, Sunderland victory, a Middlesbrough victory, a Rovers victory, and of course, not looking good for him either. Meanwhile, Robert the Hornet, he went with a Leeds win. Of course, got that one wrong. He got the whole victory right. He did pick Ipswich to come out on top. He also picked Watford to tonk Plymouth Argyle. RJ for whatever. He went with a 0-0 draw with QPR. He also backed Bristol City to beat Millwall, and also he also predicted West Brom to stonk absolute Swansea there, but it was a more close game than that. Meanwhile, Jamie Gold, he went with a 3-1 win for Ipswich. He also went for the 2-1 win for Millwall. He backed Sunderland against Preston, of course, so bit of 50-50 on that one. Carl Doherty picked up a 3-2 win over Stoke for the Ipswich. Sunderland, he went 3-0 win for Preston, and of course, he did predict a 2-2 draw between Rotherham and Rovers, but he backed Southampton a 2-0 win over Norwich. Meanwhile, at the bottom now, JDO, KRO, whatever his name is, he must be a Brommy there, right? 3-0 win, of course he does. He went for Birmingham over Leeds. He also backed a 2-2 draw between Ipswich and Stoke. Southampton 3-2 win. He predicted that. It's quite close one there in the goals. So we'll see how he got on in the Super Brews. And we are looking forward to match number 3 right about now. These are the tables right now, the current situation in the league. And as I said, Ipswich and Leicester running away with it. 6 for 6 for them. And of course, Watford player, Plymouth, Norwich, and Southampton in the playoffs. Wednesday, Huddersfield Town and Borough going down, as of course, right here, right now. But we are looking forward to match number 3, and we're going to jump into the deep end right about now with, okay, we're going this one. Sunderland up against Rotherham United coming at you at the Stadium, like must-win game, I think, for Tony Mowbray right now. All the pressure will be on. Played each other 11 times since 2003. We've got 6 wins for Sunderland. We've got 2 wins for Rotherham. We've got 3 draws, of course. Sunderland, biggest win for them over Rotherham. 3-0 win, scoring 18 goals in those 11 games. We've got 1.64 goals a game ratio. Up against Rotherham, though, 5-1 win, their biggest over Sunderland, scoring 11 goals in those 11 games. Just 1 goal a game ratio. Sunderland, though, 4 defeats on the spin for them. 25% form for them over the last 6. Rotherham, of course, just 1 win in the last 3, 75% form for them over the last 6. Last time around, at the Stadium of Light was a 3-0 win for Rotherham back in the 31st of August. Of course, last time around, the away side's only won once of the last 6, and that was a friendly when Sunderland beat Rotherham at the New York Stadium, of course. So far, not great for Sunderland. Lost to Ipswich, lost to Preston in the league, both 2-1 there, also crashing out the cup against Crewe. Rotherham, though, a bit more luck for them. 4-1 loss to Stoke, they're still in the cup after a 4-2 win over Morecambe, and a squeaky 2-2 draw against Rovers this past weekend. The odds for this game, we have 20-13 on is your Sunderland, 11-4 the draw, 17-4 is your away win. We got to back Mowbray on this one, 2-0 win for them. They get their first win and they'll move the chains as well. Next up, we have Rovers. We have Hull City, of course, hoping to have extended coverage on this game. We have a preview. Hopefully, I'll chat with a Hull City fan. We might even have a combined 11. Lots of stuff about this game coming at you. Match day, we'll have the vlog. Of course, fan reaction. Of course, I'll be there for the watch along as well. 17 times they played each other since 2008. We've got 9 wins for Rovers, 4 for Hull, 4 draws, of course. Rovers' biggest win over Hull, 3-0 win, scoring 17 goals in those 17 games, 1 goal a game on average. Hull, though, just 2-0 win was the biggest, scoring 10 goals in those 17 games, 0.59 goals game ratio coming at you. Hull, though, 50% form for them right now, 1-2, lost 2 and drawn 2. Rovers just 1 defeat past 6, 75% form for them heading into this last round, though, over at Rovers, Ewood Park. It was a 0-0 draw back in April 2023. So between the last 6, though, Rovers just 1 defeat against Hull. That was back in the KCOM a couple of seasons ago. Last time around, though, not last time around, of course, Rovers pick up a 2-2 draw against Rotherham. Hull with a 4-2 win over Sheffield Wednesday. Their tails are up. They look to be very, very busy picking up some big names or decent names in the transfer market right now. But the odds for this game, we have 20-17 on as your Rovers, 60-5 as your Hull, 25 is the draw. I think this is a tight game. I'm going to go with just a 1-0 win for Rovers here, but it could easily be a draw, especially with the names touted to be coming in. The Scott Twines of the world could be coming in to Hull to bolster the ranks. Of course, next up, we do have Bristol City against Birmingham. It's the Battle of the Bees coming at you at Thrashton Gate this coming Saturday. Played each other 26 times since 1993, 17 wins for Birmingham. We've got 5 wins for Bristol City. We've got 4 draws, of course. Of course, Bristol City's biggest win, 3-0 win, scoring 29 goals in those 26 games, 1.12 goals game ratio. Up against the Brummies, of course, 3-0 win also was their biggest, scoring 44 goals in those 26 games, 1.69 goals game ratio. Of course, heading into this, just 1 defeat the past 6 for Birmingham. Of course, includes pre-season. Bristol City, though, unbeaten in the last 6, haven't lost in the last 10 games. Last time around, the Thrashton Gate was a 4-2 win for Bristol City. Of course, that was back in January 2023. The Brummies have so far started with a draw against Swansea, beaten Cheltenham in the Cup, beaten Leeds, of course, just conceded 1 goal in the last 3 games. Meanwhile, Bristol City, unbeaten as well over the last 3, picked up a couple of wins. 1 against Millwall last time around, 5-1 in the Cup against Oxford, and a draw against Preston, of course. So we'll see how they get on this one. 6-5 on, or 65 is your Bristol City, 9-4 the draw, 23-10 is the away win. Going to go with Bristol City on this one. Birmingham, they've got the feel-good factor at the moment, but I think they're going to lose this one on my eyes. Next up, of course, we have Middlesbrough up against Huddersfield Town. Another manager feeling the pinch at the moment is Michael Carrick. Chuba Akpom about, if not already, joining Ajax. So goals could be a problem, but Cameron Archer linked, maybe some other strikers linked. So they're going to have some cash on the books to try and find some strikers to fill the void. 19 times they played since 1997. Got 11 wins for Borough, 4 wins for Huddersfield. Got 4 draws, of course. It is the 0-1 derby, by the way, at the Riverside, of course. Middlesbrough, 3-0 win was the biggest over Huddersfield, scoring 32 goals in those 19 games, 1.68 goals game ratio coming into this. It's just won once at the past 6, though, Michael Carrick. We'll talk about that shortly. Huddersfield, of course, 50% form for them right now, losing 3 on the spin. Their biggest win, though, over Borough was a 4-2 win, scoring 19 goals in those 19 games, a goal a game average. Last time around, though, over at the Riverside, it was a 0-0 draw back in October 2022. Huddersfield just lost 1 to the last 4 against Borough. Borough, though, of course, their season has started a little bit rough at the moment. 1-0 loss to Millwall on the opening day, 3-2 win over Huddersfield in the Cup. Wow. So they have played quite recently. That did escape me. A 3-0 win, a 3-0 loss to Coventry, of course. Huddersfield losing to Plymouth, losing to Borough, losing to Leicester, of course. But they are scoring goals, at least, scoring 3 and 3. So we'll see about that. The odds here, 20-13 on is your Borough, 14-5 is your 50-4 is your away win here, guys. We're going to go with a 1-0 win for Borough. Pressure will be eased a little bit on Carrick, and maybe they can start climbing up the table. Next up, of course, we have Leeds up against West Brom. Another zinger chicken dinner on this badger. That's actually opening up the games on this Friday, August the 18th. Played each other 11 times since 2002. 5 wins for Leeds, 4 for West Brom, 2 draws, of course. Leeds, biggest win for them over West Brom, 5-0 win, scoring 23 goals in those 11 games, 2.9 goals a game ratio, 2.09 goals a game ratio. On the flip side, West Brom, biggest win for them, 4-1 win, 17 goals scored in those 11 games, 1.55 goals a game ratio. Of course, the Baggies, 1 win in the last 6, not great for them. Leeds, 58% 43% form, just 1 defeat past 5 for them. However, when you look at the table, it doesn't look that pretty at the moment. Last time around, though, over at Ellen Road, it was a 3-1 win for Leeds back in May 2021. That was in the Premier League. Of course, Leeds opened up with a 2-2 draw against Cardiff. They picked up a 2-1 win over Shrewsbury, squeaked past them in the Cup, and a 1-0 loss to Birmingham. As for their baggies, losing to Rovers, losing to Stoke, picking up a win against Swansea to get their first win. They are scoring goals as well, scoring 5 goals in the first 3 games. That ain't too shabby, but they are conceding a buttload at the moment. Of course, the odds for this one, we have 2019 on as your Leeds, 13-5 is the draw, 35 is your away win. I am going to go with a 2-1 win for Leeds, but it could easily be a draw. It could be very, very easily a draw. It depends on what's happening at Leeds. They need to sort that transfer window out. Gnotto, Sinistera, a lot of other big boys. Harrison's just left, I think, to Everton/Villa. I don't know. But anyway, they need to sort that out. Leicester up against Cardiff, of course. Could this be a test for Leicester, or will this be business as usual? Played each other 23 times since 2004. We've got 6 wins to Leicester, 11 wins to Cardiff. We've got 6 draws, of course. Leicester are winning 5 of the last 6. 83% form for them right now. Cardiff, just 1 win to 6, 33% form for them at the moment. Their biggest win, though, Leicester, over Cardiff, was just a 1-0 win, scoring just 27 goals in those 23 games. 1.17 goals game ratio. Cardiff, though, biggest win for them over Leicester, 2-0 win, scoring 34 goals in those 23 games. 1.48 goals game ratio. Perhaps Cardiff are a bit of a bogey side for Leicester. Last time around, though, over at the King Powers in the Premier League back in December 2018, it was a 1-0 win for Cardiff. In fact, the home side's only won once of the last 6, and that was in the King Power when Leicester beat Cardiff. So we'll see. Cardiff opened up with a 2-2 draw against Leeds, a 3-0 win over Colchester, but a 2-1 loss against QPR at home has kind of made it a little bit sour. Leicester, though, looking good at the moment, just 1 goal conceded over the last 3, 2-1 win over Coventry, 2-0 win over Burton, and a 1-0 win over Huddersfield Town. The odds, though, for this one, we have Leicester 29 on for the victory, 10-3 the draw, and we've got 11-2 is your Cardiff. Of course, it's going to be big, isn't it? 3-0 for Leicester, flexing again, and of course remaining tip at the top of the table. But of course, Norwich and Millwall will try and get themselves moving a little bit closer to the action. That's on Sunday, August the 20th. Now, these two sides have played each other 24 times since 1995. Actually, 12 wins for Norwich. We got 5 wins for Millwall, 7 draws. Of course, Norwich biggest win for them over Millwall, 6-1 wins, scoring 40 goals in those 24 games, 1.67 goals a game ratio up against the whatever, what was the name? The Lions, Millwall, I don't know. It's early in the morning. Anyway, up against Millwall, of course, a 4-0 win was the biggest over Norwich. 27 goals scored in those 24 games, 1.13 goals game ratio, of course. Millwall, though, just 1 win in 5 for them, 42% form for them right now. Norwich unbeaten in the last 6, of course. And the last time around, though, over at Carrow Road was a 2-0 win for Norwich back in August 2022. Norwich unbeaten against Millwall over the last 6, picking up 4 wins and a couple of draws. Norwich resume so far, 2-1 win over Hull and a 4-4 draw against Southampton. They are in action tonight as of recording. I'm recording this on Tuesday up against QPR in the Cup. Millwall, though, 1-0 win over Middlesbrough, 4-0 loss to Reading, 1-0 loss to Bristol City. Both of those 2 games over at home as well. So they need to show some fight to rectify some of that dodgy home form. Anyway, the odds here, we've got even Stevens to Norwich, 13-5 is your away win, 35 is the draw. We're going to go with Norwich here, 2-0 win for them. Another goalless affair for Millwall up top. Of course, next up we have Plymouth up against Southampton in a bit of a South Coast affair on this one. Coming at you early doors on Saturday. Played each other 10 times, 2005, 4 wins to Plymouth, 2 wins to Southampton, 4 draws, of course. Plymouth, though, biggest win for them, 2-0 win, scoring 10 goals in those 10 games, 1 goal a game ratio. The Saints, biggest win for them over Plymouth, 3-1 win, scoring just 7 goals in the 10 games, 0.7 goals a game ratio. Plymouth just 1 defeated past 6, 67% form for them right now. Southampton just 1 win in 5 under Russell Martin, 42% form for them as well. Last time around, over at, of course, at Home Park, it was a 2-0 win. Actually, scrap that. It was a 3-1 win for Southampton back in May 2011. It's been a long time, guys. The home side's only won once at the last 6. That's when Plymouth beat Southampton in the Championship back on Boxing Day 2008. Plymouth with a 3-1 win over Huddersfield, 2-0 win over Leyton Orient, and a 0-0 draw against Watford. Just 1 goal conceded over the last 3 up against the Saints, who are shipping goals for fun. 1-4 scoring, conceding 8 goals in the first 3 games as they look to try and steady the ship as you weigh. 14-5 is your Plymouth, 13-5 is the draw, 11-10 on is your Southampton here. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw here. Another stuttered start for Southampton. Big point in the bag once again for Plymouth. Next up, of course, we have QPR against Ipswich, one of the table toppers at the moment. And of course, QPR trying to roll on with that surprise factor. Loftus Road played each other 36 times in 1993, 16 wins for QPR, 13 wins for Ipswich, 7 draws, of course. QPR, though, 2 defeats in the last 6, 58% form for them right now. They've scored 50 goals in those 36 games against Ipswich. 3-0 win was the biggest, and of course, 1.39 goals game ratio. Up against Ipswich under Kieran McKenna winning 3 on the spin, 83% form for them over the last 6. Of course, 3-0 win also the biggest, just scoring 43 goals in those 36 games, 1.19 goals game ratio of course. Last time around over at Loftus Road, it was a 3-0 win for QPR back on Boxing Day 2018. In fact, QPR unbeaten against Ipswich over the last 5, picking up 4 wins and a draw to boot. Ipswich, though, looking A-OK, just 1 goal conceded over the last 6 in all competitions, of course, and 3 wins on their bounce. Up against QPR, though, who have, of course, in action tonight against Norwich, looking to try and steady this ship as well for these guys, and maybe even get a bit of momentum under their wings. The odds here, 14-5 is your QPR, 2019 on is your Ipswich, are overwhelming favourites despite this being an away day. Of course, 12-5 is the draw. I'm going to go with a 1-0 win. I'm going against the bookies here. I don't think Ipswich are all that. I still don't think they're all that. And I think QPR are going to have a bit of fight now. It's going to be an ugly season, but I think they're going to nick this one and maybe settle the nerves once and for all. Another team that needs the nerves settled is Sheffield Wednesday up against Preston North End coming at Hillsborough. Played each other 30 times since the year 2000. We've got 9 wins for Sheffield Wednesday. We've got 13 wins for Preston. We've got 8 draws, of course. Wednesday, though, their biggest win, 4-1 win, scoring 37 goals in those 30 games, 1.23 goals a game ratio. Up against Preston, though, 3-1 win was the biggest, scoring 40 goals in those 30 games, 1.33 goals a game ratio coming at you, of course. Preston, though, 50% form for them right now, 1-2 lost to and drawn 2 over the last 6. Sheffield Wednesday just 1 win in 6. Of course, 70% form for them heading into this. Last time around, though, over at Hillsborough, it was a 1-0 win for Wednesday back in January 2021. That was in the Championship. Of course, Preston opened up unbeaten so far in the league, drawing with Bristol City, beating Sunderland. They are out of the cup. Sheffield Wednesday, though, did lose to Southampton. They did lose to Hull. Picked up a cheeky penalty win over Stockport County to go through. The odds on this one, though, we have 29-20 is your Wednesday, 9-5 is the away win, 9-4 is the draw. I'm again going to go with Wednesday to get a point. Preston, of course, continue to take points off of teams, of course. And I think it's probably the last one here. Stoke up against Watford, of course. That's about 3-6-5, according to my eyes. 27 times since 1983, 13 wins for Stoke. We got 10 wins for Watford, 4 draws, of course. Stoke, though, biggest win for them over Watford, 3-1 win, scoring 30 goals in those 27 games, 1.11 goals game ratio. Up against Watford, 4-0 win for them was their biggest, 29 goals scored in those 27 games, 1.07 goals game ratio. Of course, 50% form for Watford at the moment. Up against Stoke, of course, 50% form for them as well. Last time around over at the Bet365 was a 4-0 win for Watford. That was back, of course, in October 2022. Watford did the double over Stoke last time around, scoring 6 goals without return. And again, they've had a hot and cold start so far. Watford 4-0 win against QPR, losing to Stevenage in the Cup, and also just pick up a draw against Plymouth. As for Stoke, a couple of wins, one against Rotherham, one against West Brom in the Cup, and of course a loss to Ipswich. The odds over this one, what do we have on the odds on this one? We have Stoke 5-4 for the victory, 9-4 is your away win, 9-4 is the draw. Going to go with a 2-1 win for Watford on the road. Are Stoke contenders, or are they just faking it at the moment? So for me, 2-1 win for Watford, who for me are contenders at the moment. We have one more. Sorry, spoiler alert, we do have one more. It's Swansea. It is, of course, Coventry coming at you over in Wales. That's right, of course. These two sides played each other 12 times since 2008. 6 wins for Swansea, nothing for Coventry, and 6 draws, of course. Swansea, biggest win for them, 3-1 win, scoring 16 goals in those 12 games, 1.25 goals game ratio. Up against Coventry, of course, no wins so far, just 8 goals scored, 0.67 goals game ratio. It looks like they don't like to play Swansea, of course. Coventry, 58% form for them over the last 6. Swansea also 58% form for them over the last 6. Last time around, though, in Wales, it was a 3-3 thriller way back in, of course, December 2022. And like I said, no wins out of 6 for Coventry. But the last win for Swansea was back in March 2022. Swansea so far, hot and cold as well. A draw against Birmingham, beating Northampton, losing to West Brom. Coventry, though, losing to Leicester, losing to Wimbledon, and beating Middlesbrough, of course. So, yeah, it's still, I know a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon thinking Coventry are all that. I think there's a lot of integration still need to be had at this team, and a lot of new faces. I think it's a bit of a new era, really. When you lose Hamer, you lose Gayorquez. So let's calm the ship down a little bit. Let's slow the ship down. 13-10 is your Swansea, 20-10 is the away, 9-4 is the draw. Going to go with the 1-0 win for the Swans, to be honest with you. At home in Wales, the form book says it. And of course, Coventry will look a little bit rough around the gills. Don't forget about the Prediction League, guys. Of course, get involved. It is free, of course, but these are a recap of my predictions. The standout result for me, if mine coming out on top, would be, what would it be? I'm trying to look at it here. It's not many great results, to be honest with you. Probably that 1-0 win for Swansea over Coventry. That's probably my standout. Or maybe even the QPR victory over Ipswich. Definitely so. That would be the standout result in my eyes, of course. And if I'm right, this is what the table will look like at the end of it. Of course, Leicester City top, Watford, then Norwich, Rovers are up there, Bristol City, and then Ipswich Town going down. Cardiff, Rotherham, and then Huddersfield Town, of course. which could be the way of the world, of course. That's, of course, for another day. But, of course, this is, of course, me. That's right. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, of course, hit the thumbs up and all that kind of jazz. Your non-stop shop here at Blackburn Rovers sees, of course, for the Championship Rovers, and, of course, world football is right here. So do us a favour, hit the subscribe, hit the thumbs up, hit the little bell. We'll be back for match number 4. That's right, coming at you on the conclusion of these games. And don't forget to check out the Championship podcast. It's on the channel right now, the EFL's finest. Make sure you do just that to get some inside opinion on what we think, or more detailed opinion on what we think of the teams in the Championship. But until then, guys, subscribe, thumbs up, hit the little bell, and of course, I'll catch you later for the next one.